His head is too big.
His head is too big. He's won back-to-back championships. He was heavily sought after by the Lakers.
Yep.
So the whole thing was, do I go back to
Right.
UConn or do I take the big bucks and go to the bright lights in the big city? He chose to go back, and now a lot of people would like him to change.
Yeah.
But we don't think he can.
No.
I mean,
I definitely don't think he can.
I thought
he is
Dan-
who he is, and that's just...
he is who he is. And I thought Dan Patrick said it perfectly. Go back and watch the entire game.
Yeah.
Where did he get effed?
Right.
Jen says new Bob Knight.
Oh.
Yeah,
Could
very
be.
good comp. Good comp, Jen.
Jen made no comment about Oklahoma's 31-game win streak being snapped. Wow.
So your shout down is worthy because
Yes.
then you're not only setting the tone for poor Baylor, who's going out there
Exactly.
who's going, well, what happened?
Yeah.
We didn't see all the game, and
Right.
are we going to get F'd
F'd.
on the calls?
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's a hothead.
He is, yes.
And what he then did, so this had to have been after that, because that's as he's exiting the court, he then was getting interviewed by CBS right after, and he's crying.
Crying.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm confused. I'm like, what are we crying about?
Yeah, he's just he's trying to make up for it. People feel bad for him.
They lost honorably, but he didn't act
No.
No.
honorably with class.
No, not at all. Nope.
Jen
So there it
says,
is.
I'm surprised Jody didn't lead with Texas is now #1.
Ooh, good one, Jen.
Love it. Hook 'em horns. Also, I would just like everyone who's listening to
Oh.
know this is 2 weeks in a row, no Caitlin Clark shout out. Just in case everyone is wondering. No,
like
I
it.
have not fallen off the wagon of Caitlin Clark. Love.
Just giving a little break.
She needs a break. Like, she can't do something great all the time.
Was she at the Iowa-Oklahoma game, do you think? Sometimes they show her.
I know.
Sometimes they don't. Like, I think she's like, don't show me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this is... But that went
Hopefully
from
not.
being... I couldn't wait
know.
to get home and watch that game to the
Me.
worst game ever.
Same.
It was
Same.
awful.
It was terrible.
Yep.
They had deer in the headlight look, and Oklahoma came in with a great game plan
yeah, they
and
did.
couldn't
Yep.
miss.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Agreed.
Good shout outs, shout downs. I appreciate the shout down, to be
I
honest.
thought you would.
CB, dog of the week?
Oh my goodness. What is going on with my
No dog of the week.
Yes.
Okay, dog of the week.
No, I just don't know what's going on with the stream deck right now. Guys, from Team Golden Hugs, we have Waffles.
I love the
Waffles.
name.
I mean, just the name itself.
He's so
Waffles.
stinking cute. He's like a golden retriever, Great Pyrenees, something else. He's freaking adorable. He's 1 year old.
He's going to get big then,
He's,
huh?
Yeah.
he could be,
Could
yeah.
be a big boy.
He's great at learning plays. He's been doing a lot of trainings.
Good X's and O's, dude.
Yes,
Yep.
he can do recall with a tool, but he does with that Great Pyrenees. He does sometimes likes to call his own plays.
Okay. Happens.
He's selective about his teammates. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Okay, sorry.
Again, we have the easy job. CB does not.
Yeah, he's selective about his teammates, so he would do well with like a confident he does better with girl dogs than boy dogs.
Okay.
So the girl
All
dogs
right.
would be,
He's a flirt.
someone who's, would love to play in high energy. And then the boy dog's just like a no nonsense, boy dog.
Yep.
But
All
he's
right.
friggin' adorable. So check him out on Team Golden Hugs.
Love it. Thanks, CB.
And then I have one shout out, one shout down. My
Yes.
shout out
We like shout downs.
Yes.
is to Paige Beckers.
Yes.
Who has a 50-40-90. So 54% from the field goal, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw.
Hey, you know I love numbers, and those
That's
are
so
the best
impressive.
numbers in the world.
So impressive.
And she also, I think she's the only person across NBA, WNBA,
Yes, she is.
D1, the only
With-
player
Yeah.
with those
those
numbers.
numbers.
With
Yeah.
those numbers.
I believe it.
She is. Yep.
And she's doing that while also leading D1 with 3.8 assists to turnover ratio.
What was her shooting from the field again?
54%.
Yeah. She was unbelievable the other
When you
night.
get in the high 30s and in the 40 range,
Yep.
you're like,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Laura Lynn says,
We're going to have to get
such a
Cooper
cutie.
Flags. I wonder what
Yeah.
his is on the season. Should look that up.
Oh, our Duke, man is here.
Right. And my shout down, we'll get into it. and we've talked about this a little bit,
Yeah,
is to
yeah.
Lindsay Gottlieb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And obviously we titled the show JuJu.
JuJu.
But her
JuJu.
whole, we already talked about this like a couple episodes ago where
Yeah,
we were talking about how she was complaining about being the 4th #1 spot and how that just looks bad.
She felt
Yeah.
disrespected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like,
It's a strong word to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
stop whining.
Stop whining.
That
But
should
then-
be the name of our show.
Yeah,
Stop.
stop whining.
Yeah.
And then
Or we feel disrespected. We don't know why.
We
Yeah.
should be.
And then
why.
the fact that she put JuJu back into a game that was way out of, like, they were way in front. There was no way,
Didn't matter anymore, did it?
after being injured twice. Like, she injured
Right,
her hand, and then
right.
she injured her
Her
ankle.
ankle. Yep, hand
And
and
she
ankle.
still got put in at the start of the 4th quarter when the game was way out of hit. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
they weren't coming back from that. Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
Right.
I've watched a lot of games like that in the opening rounds
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the women.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they're
maybe the
winning
men
by an
do it
average
too.
of like
Yeah.
60.
Yeah. Like, the only team that that could get away with that is Tennessee.
Yes.
Yes.
Every other
Yep.
team, if you're winning
Yep.
by 20, 30, just put your
Yeah.
4th quarter, just put your backups.
I mean,
Yeah.
Gino took
Bench in.
Paige out last night with 4 minutes.
Exactly.
Or the other night. 4
Yeah.
minutes to go.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy moly.
Like he knows. Like
Yeah.
he knew. Like
Yeah.
the game is completely out of hand.
Right.
Give her her moment.
Exactly.
yeah.
like-
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the only reason she went back in the 4th quarter is just to give her that moment,
Yeah.
the last game there.
at stores. Yep.
And
Yep.
then the whole handling of the interview, the press after JuJu's injury,
Yeah.
of how she was happy about happy that the crowd was behind them, and that it was the comments around the crowd who was booing every single
Every time Mississippi State.
Mississippi
Yeah.
State
touched the ball.
even when the cheerleaders were out, who
Yeah.
had nothing to do with it. It's just like, it wasn't a dirty play.
No.
No,
It was a
not.
basketball
It
play.
was not.
It was a freak. And if
100%.
anything, right?
Yep.
I don't know if it's the same
100%.
ankle, but if you have an ankle injury, you're more prone to having knee injuries, right?
right.
That was the whole thing that happened with Paige.
Right.
And so it's like, if anything, you brought this on yourself, but the way she handled it, the hate that's been being sent to Chandler, the other player,
Yeah.
is
It's not right.
like, she's a 20-something-year-old
Yeah.
kid who is playing basketball.
Right.
You don't think she
Running
gets her-
alongside, just trying to
Yep,
play defense.
trying
Exactly.
to get back and
Yeah.
just alter it a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Not a
Chandler
dirty play at all.
Lindsay was like talking about
Prater,
it.
I think, is now not on social media anymore.
yeah, nope.
Because she and
Which is terrible.
Yeah.
As soon as you watch it live,
Yeah.
you're watching it live, you're thinking, oh my God. For the first 30 to 60 seconds,
Yep.
you could hear a pin drop probably in that
Yeah.
story.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The announcers didn't know what to do.
No, they didn't.
No.
They didn't know what to say. They didn't.
No.
It was
And
so
after
awkward.
the dust settled and the game went on, I'm like, that poor kid from Mississippi
Yeah.
State.
Yep.
This is going to happen, isn't
Yep.
it?
And that's
And that's the world we live in.
Yeah. I mean, same thing happened with Gabby Marshall last year.
Yeah.
right.
With the
Yeah.
moving screen
Yep.
against UConn.
Yep.
She had to delete her social media,
exactly.
too.
Very
Yep.
good.
Yep. It's the
That's a
same
good
thing.
comp.
Yep. And it's just like, it's a terrible situation. No one wants to see anyone get hurt.
Exactly.
And then you're just encouraging and saying, like, hey, they were playing physical. I'm like, yeah, it was a physical game.
It was
but,
a physical game. It was a physical game.
But that play
But
wasn't.
that's basketball.
No.
But that play was not dirty in any way.
Nope.
Yeah, that was tough because it's a huge loss for women's basketball.
Yes.
Yep.
Huge.
I mean, not talking about what this poor girl's going through. It is a big loss for women's basketball.
Yep.
I literally was like, oh, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the first, when they show you it again, I'm like, that's her ACL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew
Yeah.
that. And
Oh,
the way
yeah.
she
Oh, yeah,
yelled,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the way she
yelled and
grabbed
grabbed,
her,
yeah,
and her
immediately.
yelling.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I'm
shout
like-
down to all the fucking media. Sorry. Whoops. Whoops. Who, like, you look at all of the articles being written, and they're just all pictures of friggin' JuJu in pain, like
Right.
crying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary?
Right.
Do you have to show that picture?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's a
Be
huge
better.
loss because this was probably USC's best chance. Not fair of me to say that.
Oh, yep,
Because
absolutely.
JuJu is a sophomore, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
But Kiki Iriafen being there,
Yep.
Yep.
having that inside-out game,
Yep.
that's huge.
Yep.
Yep.
So it probably was their best chance. So if
Yep.
you look at it from, as a basketball fan, which
Yep.
we are, this was their best chance. And I thought the best game of the regular season was when USC and UConn played.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
I was literally on the edge of my
Absolutely.
seat going,
Great game.
This
Yep.
is amazing basketball.
Yep.
So did we want that again?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody did.
Did maybe the
Absolutely.
committee make it,
So it could happen?
So it could happen?
Yeah. Right.
Your two biggest stars. The
Yep.
face of
Yeah.
college women's basketball is Paige Beckers and JuJu.
JuJu. Yep.
Every time a commercial comes on, it's one of those two.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's even one, the latest one with JuJu, where she's just doesn't say a word.
Nope.
There's sweat, and it's the Just Win one,
Yep.
and
Yep.
she doesn't even have to say a word. I'm like,
Sorry,
whoa,
Joe.
Yep.
holy moly. So
Joe says
yeah,
my ears are burning now. Sorry, Joe.
it's too bad that we won't get that
Yeah.
matchup.
And
I
what
look at it as
yeah.
a basketball fan only, not a
Yeah.
fan of either teams, because I just love
Right,
basketball.
Right.
And just like the timing of it, it's so
Right.
late in the
Yeah.
season.
Right,
She's
right.
not gonna play at all next
Next year, probably. Yeah.
That's all right. We had some PTs at work the next day going, what if they do this, this, and this in the next couple days? Maybe she can put a brace on and play. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
not-
it's
it's not
just
worth it.
us wanting
Right.
it so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I think her surgery was going to be pretty quick. I mean, they were talking like within.
They just
I
have
know
to wait
the
till the
swelling
swelling
and
goes
stuff.
down, yeah.
Exactly. So, and I don't blame her.
And
You want
they-
to start rehabbing now.
Oh yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. I feel very bad for Chandler Prater as well
Yeah.
because she doesn't deserve it. She was just playing basketball.
Right.
Yep.
And I hope the USC fans that booed went home and the next day said, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
I get it. It would
Yeah.
be like if Cooper Flag went down.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you understand the moment.
Right.
Because we're all sports fanatics.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah. Good one.
But they're
Good shout up
they're,
and
but they're
shout
people.
down. So you took care of the JuJu one. Thank you. I'm going to give a shout out to TCU basketball.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
men's or women's. It's the first basketball program in TCU to get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
It's solid.
And I will say this, Haley Van Lith is
on a mission.
I said
You
she's
saw
on a
it.
mission.
She is on a mission.
She's on a mission.
Yep.
Holy moly, she wouldn't even crack a smile even after she beat Louisville. I'm like, oh, you can smile now. Nope. It
No.
finally took a player from Louisville stopping her and hugging her because
Yeah.
she just still had that, not RBF face,
No.
just
Yep.
the Stone
Game face.
Cold
Yep.
game face.
Game face. Yep.
I came here, I did what I had to do. I want to give a shout out to Annie Agar
Oh.
because I saw her Final Four and I loved her Final Four. She went out on a limb a little bit. Okay, Michigan State,
Okay.
Florida, Alabama,
Oh, okay.
Houston.
Nice.
In the final, Michigan State and Houston.
Oh
right.
wow.
Winning
Okay.
it all, Michigan State. Annie Agar.
Wow.
Way to go out
Look at
on
her.
a limb. Woohoo! I love to give an Annie Agar shout
Yeah,
out anyway. And I'm never going to disagree with her. I can't.
Yeah. How can you?
I can't.
Just waiting for this. She's a babe.
I know.
I was literally waiting for it.
I saw you looking at me,
killing
and
me.
I was
like,
like,
come on,
What is she
Wills."
waiting? She's waiting for me to do it. I
Yep.
know. I know.
Best thing I heard is from Chris Godwin, the receiver for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Yes, I'm going to do football all the time. He basically was handed a blank check by an NFL team in free agency. I think it was the Patriots because they're the ones that put a full court press on for him. But this is a quote from Chris Godwin that you're not going to hear from too many athletes. I think what it boiled down to, honestly, was family and just staying true to who I am. I feel like 9 out of 10 people in this position wouldn't necessarily have made the decision that I did, but I don't do the things that I do based on what other people would do.
Solid.
I trust my gut and I stay true to who I am. I love that sentence,
Yeah.
by the way. One thing I've never done, this one's going to blow you away. One thing I've never done is made any decisions solely based on money. Let that sink in for a couple of seconds.
Let it sink in that a professional athlete said that.
What professional athlete
Has
have
that
you
ever
heard say
been
that?
said ever?
Seriously.
It might have been said, but no one believed him.
No. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like
Like Miles
I
Garrett.
have to read this. I have to read this
Yeah.
because best thing I saw, this is men's basketball. 100% of national championships in men's college basketball since 1997 are located east of this line, and it literally goes down the middle of the United States. Literally down the middle. East. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
You can include Kentucky in there because that's kind of where the middle is,
Okay.
Kansas.
All right.
So Yukon, Kansas, Virginia, Villanova. There is one name in here, though, as I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, but where is Texas? I don't know. It literally goes a third of the way into Texas as well, because Baylor would be the only other school I could come up with. But Baylor's over here in Waco.
Okay.
I just thought that was fascinating. And I'm like, why? Why does that happen?
I don't know.
What's wrong with California and Arizona and
Right.
Washington?
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not as good as what Chris Godwin said. And now I'm going to have him on my fantasy team just because of
Just
what he
'cause.
said. We're going to look at the coaching carousel. This is going to factor into the first half of our program. Richard Pitino has already left New Mexico after New Mexico's upset of Marquette, and he is going to Xavier, where, I don't even know what I want to say about Sean Miller, but
Yeah.
he's leaving Xavier.
Yeah.
He used Xavier for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an FBI probe into the Arizona program that Sean Miller was at for quite a while. He was
there a long time.
He was there a long time, and I have the breakdown somewhere. But once the FBI investigation came, he left. Actually, they booted him out of Arizona. He was at Arizona from 2009 to 2021 until the FBI probe happened, and they couldn't go to the NCAA tournament for 1 year. He was long gone. He went back to Xavier, where he had already coached, because he knew he could go there. And as soon as Texas called him,
Yep.
he packed his bags as quickly as he could and got the hell out of Xavier to go back to, not to go back to,
Right.
to go
Right.
to Texas.
Yep.
And let's be real, Texas.
Yeah.
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 Texas.
Yeah.
State-of-the-art arena opened in 2022. It's Texas. So I'm just going to say he slithered his way out of Xavier.
Definitely slithered. Yes.
But what I liked out of all that is that Richard Pitino is going to Xavier, and his quote is, "Xavier is one of the great brands in all of college basketball. It has always been a dream of mine to coach in the Big East. I can't wait to get to work." So now Richard Pitino will coach in the same league as his father.
Yep.
So awesome.
Very cool.
And speaking of dad,
Oh, boy.
and I'm going to give my last shout out is to Rick Pitino.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys aren't thinking, what the hell is she doing?
No.
It's like me with the Astros.
Yeah.
Loses the toughest game probably of his career.
Oh,
to
God.
John
That's
Calipari.
brutal.
It was bad.
It was real bad.
It was
Brutal.
bad.
And takes a plane to Cleveland to get to his son's game
Yep.
when they were playing his good buddy. He was playing Michigan State and Tom Izzo, to stand in the stands, not sit, with all the other New Mexico fans and cheer his son on. And
So
he
awesome.
looked like a proud
Yep.
father.
Yep.
Not, don't look at me because
Right.
of who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Give him a huge shout out.
Yes, absolutely.
I really,
Yep.
really do. Well done, Dad. Well,
Well
done.
done.
I never thought I'd give Rick Pitino a shout
No
out.
matter what, you're always a dad first. So,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Hell
you
yeah.
know,
Yep. And before we go full blown into college basketball Sweet 16, do we give a shout out to the Giants for not just signing one quarterback?
and no last name Rogers.
And you guys are okay with it?
I mean,
Big Giant fans here. Just tell
I
me.
don't love them.
Me either.
I don't love Wilson. I
Nope,
don't
me either.
love Winston. Like,
Me either.
Okay.
but it's an upgrade from what we had.
We don't have like.
And we don't have Aaron Rodgers.
And we don't have Aaron Rodgers. What pisses me off?
Right.
Yes.
For your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's happening.
I know.
What
Sorry,
pissed me
go
off
ahead.
is that they're basically pulling a Yankees, right?
Yeah.
They could have gotten Russell Wilson last year for like $1 million.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
no, they didn't want to make Danny Dimes sad.
Right.
Right.
So now they're paying him $10 million this year.
Yeah.
What the?
Right. Like yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they're paying Wilson and Winston combined money
Right.
that a starter would have.
Yeah.
So like,
They are.
Yeah.
Because the
Which-
guaranteed is like 10 and a half.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Four?
So
I think it's 4.
like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Just because, I mean, where were we going to go from there?
Right.
Like, we
Right.
had nothing. We had Danny DeVito, and that's about it.
Oh my gosh! And did you know
So
that?
it's like-
And I guess. Well, this is the first time that they're gonna have a non-white
Yes.
quarterback
Do you know
starting
how long
first
I've waited
week.
for that?
Seriously?
Yes, they
week
have
one?
never not had.
They've only had two
What?
two quarterbacks that have not been white in their whole
franchise.
franchise.
Yep.
Only
What are
two
you talking
games.
about?
Only 2 games.
Yep. Yeah.
Holy moly.
That's why remember when I sent you that picture of exciting whites?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited about it. We're still going to finish dead last.
Oh,
in the East.
absolutely.
Like, we're still going to be terrible.
but it could have been worse.
But it could. We'll
So are the
win a game or
Dolphins.
two.
The
So-
Dolphins are going to finish dead last
Yeah.
in the East as well. If you're part of the Giants brass, do you still take Shedeur Sanders at 3?
Not if Abdul Carter or
No.
Travis Hunter are available.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean,
No.
we'll get more into the draft, but I
Yep.
just had to throw that nugget
Yep.
out there.
I mean, I know that was a big thing on Get Up this morning. Was like,
That's immediately what I thought about
Yeah.
when I saw that. I was
Yeah,
like,
do they take him
still
now?
take him?
Yeah.
and I'm like, there's so many
And you
other
know
holes we
somebody's
have.
going-
Yeah.
Like,
One of those two will be there.
right.
Because Cam Ward has literally
He's gonna be
cemented
number 1.
himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're saying Cleveland and the Giants want Ward.
Oh God.
And that they will be calling Tennessee, but Tennessee is going to ask for
a lot.
Oh,
ransom.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be a plethora.
And it just doesn't
draft
make
picks.
sense to like dump everything you're going
No.
to need to dump for him.
So
Because we have
either-
so many other needs.
Exactly.
It's not just
it's not
that we
gonna
don't have a
make
quarterback.
difference. It's not going to make a
Right.
difference.
So I could see if like the defense was great and
Right.
we were looking good everywhere else and all we needed was that one quarterback, totally get it.
100%.
But we are a shit show.
Exactly.
So Travis Hunter and
So-
Shedeur, Shedeur will be there. Travis Hunter's there. U.S.
I
Giant
would
fans
love.
are
I
excited.
would love
100%.
if Travis Hunter
100%.
comes to the Giants.
Every mock
Absolutely.
draft I see is Travis Hunter going to the Patriots
I know.
with
I know.
Shedeur Sanders
Yep.
going to the Giants.
Joe Edson says no way to Sanders, and he also says my shout out was for Lauren Betts. Played an awesome game.
Yes,
She did, yeah.
Lauren Betts played a
Great
I
game.
love watching her play.
Great
I'm
game.
going to be dead honest there. My last and my 2 NFL shout outs though is I think the Chicago Bears, because Ben Johnson is the right coach, made the best moves in free agency. I think the Patriots did on the defensive side of the ball. Because they literally are caring for Caleb Williams, meaning they rebuilt their whole offensive
Right.
line. And my last NFL shout out is the Patriots did get their number 1 receiver.
Yep.
Because Stephon Diggs
Yep.
did sign 3 years,
3 years.
69 million, 26 guaranteed. Probably will be back probably week 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. So I have to do an NFL shout out. I can't do
Always.
all
Oh,
basketball.
absolutely.
Always.
You still need a 30-second timeout
Yep.
to go on?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to take a quick 30-second timeout, and when we come back, it'll be all Sweet 16.
we're back.
And we're back.
That was a quick
with Garrett
30 seconds.
Sicily joining on the set.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining. And we're not going to talk fishing.
Okay.
Or
That's your.
Duke basketball. We're not
Well-
going to talk about them either, are we?
What would you rather talk about, fishing or Duke basketball?
It's March Madness right now. We can
Yeah.
talk
Okay.
about Duke.
Thank God, because if
I
you
mean-
said,
Do we
Can
have
you-
to?
can
Can we
you-
mute him?
Can
or
we-
no?
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Let's mute him.
Can we not all agree that Duke has not looked good in their first 2
there's a
games?
lot of teams that have looked good, though. Don't you agree?
I absolutely do.
Yes.
Garrett and I, working for CVT Sport, we banter all the time, all winter long. We hit it off from the first time we met each other. It was like, he was like my soul brother, right from the get-go, soul sister, and we banter. And we never really agree on who our team, we
Yeah.
agree in talking.
To it, yeah.
Yeah, talking
Yeah.
about the sports and the teams, but we never cheer for the same teams. That's what makes it so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So fun.
So
And
awesome.
I mean, it pained me all winter long. I'd be like, Kansas sucks. He couldn't say anything.
I mean,
He'd
like-
sit there and go, the Jayhawks suck. Preseason #1, they suck.
Yep.
I don't know who votes for that preseason #1, that particular one.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Gonzaga was up there, UConn was up there, North Carolina was up there, and Kansas was down there.
And look
Yeah.
at them. And where are any of them now?
I digress big time. I want to ask you guys, what was your favorite game from last weekend, men's and women's?
So hard. So hard.
I have to go men's. I have to go UConn and Florida.
It was a good game.
See, I didn't get to watch that one.
It was a really good.
So for me, it was
I had to go back and watch.
the Maryland game, the guy that hit the shot at the buzzer.
So I have Maryland and Colorado State. down
Although,
here as
I'm not
well.
going to lie to you, that was a travel.
Wicked travel.
Oh yeah.
So
Since when can you
The
take
thing-
3 steps?
Shit.
the thing about it
Yeah.
is as soon as he catches that pass,
Yeah.
guy's hand is right on his back,
Yeah.
pushing him out. So realistically, it could have been
Right.
something
Which is
either
why
way,
they
but
let it
I
go.
completely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
100%
I went to another
a
game
travel.
when
Yeah.
Colorado State hit the shot. I don't know where it went, and I was going to go back. But whatever game I was watching, the scores are always up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, holy shit. Maryland won, and I'm
Yeah.
going back, and they're replaying it, and I'm like, well, he traveled. Oh, game over.
Yeah. Yep.
But it was
I was
still-
like, and the,
Which is valid
and
point.
the big man too, like wanting
Yeah.
the ball.
That's-
Freshman.
Yeah.
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 Did you hear
Cooper Flag's
the,
teammate, at Montverde last year.
Yes. Did you hear the interview with the Maryland coach after? During his timeout,
Yeah.
he said, who wants the ball? That's how he conducted his
Yeah.
timeout.
And he was the only one that
said,
spoke
give
up.
me the effing ball.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's confidence right
Give
there.
me the
Yeah.
effing ball.
And for the women, the best game I watched was
It's #1 on my list.
the Alabama
Maryland game.
Maryland
Yeah.
game.
Outstanding.
That girl
game.
who went off for
Out-
45 points was amazing.
Sarah Ashley
Free throws?
Baker.
Yeah.
With 3 free throws?
Barker, excuse me,
Ice
not Baker.
cold. Ice cold.
And I had
man.
no stake in that game because I didn't
Yeah.
care who won.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was
Back
like on the
and
edge of my
forth,
seat.
back
I
and
was like,
forth,
what
back
a
and
freaking
forth.
game.
Yeah.
It was the game of Sarah's, is what I'm going to call it.
Yes.
Sarah Ashley Barker and Sarah T. Biasu
Yeah.
was the little guard
Yeah.
on Maryland
Oh, yeah.
who had
Yeah.
ice in her veins.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Barker goes off for 45 and 8 rebounds in that game.
Yeah.
And I've watched her play before. This kid is good.
She's very good.
And just watching a game go into double overtime, but she said you dream of those moments.
Yeah.
And this is in a loss. You dream of those moments, you live for these moments, and you know it didn't go our way, but at the end of the day, like our coach told us, keep your head held high. That was an amazing basketball game.
Yeah.
They don't get. I will watch that game
Yeah,
again
it was a
after
great
March
game.
Madness
All the
ends.
women's 4-5 games were
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
5.
the Kentucky K-State game.
Kansas State game.
Oh,
Yep,
So
that
and
was
what
second
about
on my list.
Amore, like at the end, like her
Man.
comment in the her
Yeah.
after
She's
the
a
game.
class act.
What a class
Yeah,
act,
class
saying
act.
like she's not going to let one shot define her 5
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
But what a great what a great sideline.
oh my God,
What
it
a
was
great play.
perfectly
I
That was
said,
a great
executed.
well,
play.
it's going
Perfectly
right back to her
executed.
because
Yeah.
she's taking it out. So I'm like,
Yeah.
because before when they took it out on the side, she wasn't taking it out.
Right.
So they double teamed her. I
Yeah.
mean, smart. Of course, you're going to double team her. And then on that one, I'm like, oh, it's going right back to her. Oh my God, defense didn't rotate over.
my God, it was
God.
perfect.
It was
Oh my God, she's
beautiful.
got.
Yeah.
She just tried to be too pretty.
Yes.
Like, you can tell when she releases it, like, she's just trying to really be too,
Yep.
instead of just,
She probably couldn't believe she was that wide open
Probably
for a brief
not.
moment
No.
either.
But like you and I said, 99 out of 100 times she makes
hits
it.
Oh,
it.
100%.
So,
And this kid brought so much excitement back to Kentucky
yes,
basketball.
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a whole lot of excitement there for
Nope.
years to come. So those were the ones I had. I mean, I also had, and you're going to be shocked, Wheels, with this one, the Tennessee Volunteer women over Ohio State. Wasn't even a good game. But the fact that I picked Tennessee to go to the
You
Sweet
did.
16,
You did. Good for you.
and the Ohio State team is like, they're not coming in here on our court and winning this game. And I can't remember the Ohio State player because I love her. She's solid. But she's like, they will not be coming in here, the Volunteers,
Yeah.
and winning on our home court. And I was like, and then it happened.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And you know, Coach Caldwell, what she's done to that
Love
program.
her.
What just their style of play is just so
Do I think they have their hands full? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
you want to get to that Sweet 16.
Yeah.
You
I
want
I mean,
to
no
get
one
past
predicted
those
them
first
to
4
get there.
days.
Like,
Exactly. Just
besides
me.
you.
Just me.
Just you.
Every now and again, Garrett, I get one right. That UConn-Florida game, though, is anybody surprised? I know it's a 1-8, but it's UConn.
Yeah, I wasn't
I
surprised.
wasn't
Oh, no,
surprised. I wasn't
yeah.
surprised.
I know
Not
how
at
good
all.
we all think, how we all know Florida's
Florida.
that good.
Yeah.
But I said, oh my God, if there's the hardest 1-8 game, it's that one, because it's UConn.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as the bracket came out, it's like
Right.
you know, it's,
Yeah.
Right.
it's the defending 2-time champs.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it's not going to be a
Right.
cakewalk.
Right. Regardless
Right.
of record and ranking.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right. Right.
The other game I enjoyed was the Duke women over Oregon, because Oregon came out and just punched them in the mouth
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I went, and Fournier wasn't playing, the fabulous freshman for Duke, who's their leading scorer and rebounder, and I'm like, she was out with an illness, and I was like, oh no, this can't happen.
Right.
And I give Duke a lot of credit. Oregon's got a phenomenal coach as well. That was one of those gritty, grind it out games.
Yep.
And the fact that Duke is moving on, kudos to them. Any other games that you guys can think of? I think we said, and it was Maryland. Maryland gave their fans so much
Yeah, they
to
did.
cheer about
Yeah.
in men's and women's.
I mean, there wasn't any, like,
wasn't
Drake
that
wasn't
many.
upset.
There wasn't-
Like,
Right.
there
I mean-
wasn't any that were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, upsets. I don't know,
Yeah.
like exciting upsets, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew Arkansas was going to beat Kansas.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
think
we
any
did
of us
not
were
know
surprised about
Arkansas
that.
would- I almost put St. John's in the Final Four, and I'm not kidding
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
I was this close, and Garrett knows. Every time we did a game
every
together,
time you talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just watched St. John's again, and
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Yep.
I know.
And they play such good defense. And
I think I brought it up to you that their shooting could have been an Achilles
You
an
did.
Achilles
You did.
heel to them because
Yeah.
you would always
you know
give
you
me
love
the
their
other side.
defense, yeah,
Right.
Right.
you love their
Right.
defense 100%,
Yeah.
but
And then on a not good offense, you have your leading scorer go. What was
Yep.
he like? 3 for 17.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 for 17, something
Yep.
like that.
And didn't he bench him?
Yep.
Like, so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
For the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I was down in Windsor for the day watching the All-Star games, the high school All-Star games. When I got home that night,
Yeah.
I'm like, and I wasn't really paying attention to the scores. I was like, oh my God. I mean, you would have heard me at your house. I
Yeah.
screamed it so loud.
Yeah.
Who watched that game?
Yeah.
Arkansas, St. James,
I did
St.
not.
John's.
I did.
I did.
I did.
So
It was ugly.
was it just ugly, bad basketball on both sides?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just a grind out, ugly
Yeah.
game.
yep.
Yeah.
What coach's face was red the most? Calipari or Patino's?
Probably
Patino's-
Calipari.
Probably, yeah.
Patino
Calipari.
stays
Yeah.
calmer. I mean, he's usually
He
like
gets
this.
pissed and
He
then he
get-
walks away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Okay.
his. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his trademark.
So ugly basketball, and so the lowest seed still alive is Arkansas,
Arkansas.
correct?
Yep.
That's the
Ole
lowest.
Miss.
And Ole Miss.
Ole Miss
Miss.
is 6, though. They're the
Arkansas
6th
is
seed.
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arkansas is 10.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah. One other thing I have to say, this was my shout out, and I had it on the wrong piece of paper. I'm going to give Oklahoma Sooners women's basketball a shout out. Not only that they're in the Sweet 16, but Aaliyah Chavez from Lubbock, Texas,
Yes.
is the #1 recruit out there, and she just
Yeah.
committed to not Notre Dame, not
UConn.
UConn,
Shocking.
but Oklahoma.
I was shocked by that,
Me
actually.
too. I was shocked.
Okay, I had to
Very
do that at
shocked.
the bottom of my
That
notes
is the only
there.
time I will allow you to give Oklahoma any sort of shout out of any kind.
So
Just
You
so
don't
know.
like? Do you not? You don't like Oklahoma softball? I get that, but what about
Not
the
at all.
basketball
No.
program?
It's all tied to softball. I can't do it.
Seriously,
Yeah, I can't do it.
Wheels?
No.
Whoa. Okay.
No.
I didn't. So when I brought up Oklahoma basketball and
Yeah.
you gave me that look an hour
I
ago,
gave CB
know
the
why.
look. I was like, what are we doing? Why are you shouting out? No, can't do
Wow.
it. Can't do it.
Okay. All right. So anybody listening, is your bracket completely busted? Mine's not busted.
Mine's not
Mine's
busted. It's not great,
It's not great.
but it's not busted.
Same.
My Final Four is still there.
My
Same.
final
I think my Final Four for both
is still there.
Same.
Yes.
My women's bracket looks a whole lot better than my
My-
men's, but
Indeed.
Me too. Me too.
Indeed.
I feel ya.
Yes, I have Texas and UConn in the final for the women. South Carolina, UCLA as
Yep.
well. Yeah, but in the men's, Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Tennessee. So with
see, we agree.
that, see, we did. When you sent me your Final Four and I wrote it down and I said it last week, I'm like, Garrett and I have the same.
That's not
Again,
good.
we're not saying they're our
hell
favorite
freeze
team.
over.
We're just
That's not
talking.
good.
Yeah. So, looking at the games coming up Thursday and Friday and Saturday, what game intrigues you guys the most? And I will give my favorite men's game. It is, I had it written down here somewhere. It is Tennessee and Kentucky, because you've got two powerhouses from the SEC,
Yep.
and Kentucky has swept Tennessee. Kentucky has swept Tennessee.
Hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's
already
been 3
said
times.
to you guys, Tennessee is my pick coming out of the Midwest.
Yeah, Kentucky's not beating them.
Kentucky's not beating Tennessee.
No. Tennessee is
I like
playing
that.
their
I like
best.
that. I like that.
I don't think so either. I think
Tennessee's playing their best basketball
So
right
none of
now.
us are
Agree.
going to give Kentucky a chance
No.
in that game.
No.
Okay. I just look at that one and go, oh my God,
I mean,
Friday at 7:39. Where do they get these tips,
Yeah.
by the way?
Yeah.
9:39, 7:09, 10:09, and 7:39. That's the one game I don't want to miss on Friday. I will be traveling, but I will be to my destination by
game time?
7:38. 8. Yes.
7:38 is
So
her
I
level
can
time.
mix my cocktail up and
Yes.
sit down.
Perfect.
There you
Okay. All right. I love it. I love it. So, okay, here's some of the games, and I'm going to give you what, it's always CBS with me. They ranked 8th to 1st as what are the best games coming up.
Okay.
So, number 8, Houston versus Purdue. No love for Purdue at all.
I
Braden
don't
Smith.
see it being.
I don't
I don't
either.
see it being a game.
So, blowout.
I
We're all
agree.
saying
We're
blowout.
going
Yeah.
with this.
Hell yeah.
Houston covers easily.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this, you and I both picked Duke in the men's. These two picked Houston. So I love that Duke, Houston going on here. Okay, ranking number 7 is Auburn, Michigan, as not being a good game.
That's a.
But can
I
we
think it's
give
gonna be.
Michigan-
I think it's gonna be better than people think.
Can we
agree.
give Coach
we will
May-
100% agree on
Yeah,
that.
okay.
100%.
Like out of the
Love
teams
it.
remaining, Auburn
Yeah.
is is the one I have least confidence in. To
Same.
be
They're the
completely
least
honest.
number 1 I have
Yeah.
confidence in, even
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though they're the
even though
overall
I picked
number 1,
Tennessee over
right?
Houston. Oops.
Yeah. I just.
But
I
can
wouldn't
we
be
give-
surprised that
can-
they will not.
Is
I don't-
anybody going to give Michigan a little
I'm
nice
gonna.
job?
Yeah.
Coach May in his
I will
first
give
year?
I will give them a ton of credit
Yeah.
because I didn't even see them winning their first game.
No, me neither.
No.
No.
I'm like,
So-
good job, Coach May. And who did they beat? Now I gotta
UC
find
Santa
it.
UC Santa Barbara and then
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
Right, yeah.
I picked Texas A&M.
Yeah,
So did
Easily.
I.
So
So
did
did
I.
So did
I.
I.
So did I.
Easily. Come on, Coach Buzz and Texas A&M. That's a good team.
Yep.
That they
I love
beat.
Buzz Williams.
I love Buzz.
I
Coach
love
Buzz,
Buzz
man.
Williams.
You talk about a little, it looks like a little fullback. He's a cool dude. So that was number 7, but we all agree Michigan deserves a little bit more props.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would put this 6th game as number 7, Alabama and BYU. Should give BYU some credit, which I
Yes.
will.
Yes.
But I think Alabama is scary good.
Yep.
And I know.
I don't know.
Are you going to pick BYU?
I've watched BYU
Yeah.
Me
play
too.
this year.
Me too.
And they
also
should
watched Alabama.
they should have run Iowa State off their own home court in the regular season.
Okay.
Iowa State came back. Whatever I don't know what the over/under is on that game, but take the over.
CB
100%.
we got a
There is
gambler over here.
There is no defense.
So if CB tells you the over/under, would you bet once you? Well, we won't know until.
Don't worry,
she tells you.
CB's got you.
CB's a gambler.
Yeah, she's all about this over/under. So.
I had deleted the app for a while because I was like, I need a break. And then March Madness started up again. And I was like, oh, well.
So you're saying BYU has a chance?
Richie Saunders. Know the name.
Okay.
Know the name. They start.
175.5.
That's high.
That's
wow,
high.
that's really high.
But what is
There's a chance both of those teams, one of those teams will hit 100 and the other hit 90.
what is Alabama favored by though? Does it give the breakdown?
5.5.
What is it?
5.5.
Oh, then they're not
Take them.
favored by a lot.
No.
I take BYU. Ooh.
Would you take BYU in
BYU
that? I'll
with
take
the
Alabama
points?
and I'll give you the 6 points. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's a fun side bet.
Okay.
I'll give you 6 points.
Okay.
All right. We like doing these fun. We've never like paid each other anything.
That's fine.
We just bet.
Bragging rights.
The thing that's interesting about that game too is both teams use their bench.
Right.
They both go
So come
10,
the fourth quarter.
10, 11 players deep.
Okay.
Oh, solid.
Yeah.
Good point.
But what I will say is Alabama, their defense has improved this year.
Yep.
Can't really say much about St. Mary's because
Right.
Right.
I'll give you that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't think St. Mary's was going to get past Vanderbilt, but they don't shoot the ball very well. But if Alabama does not hit,
I wouldn't be surprised. It's another one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised if BYU wins. Plus, they have the power of Jimmer. Like, Jimmer's there, cheering them on.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in forever. Love Jimmer.
on.
Love Jimmer.
Riding that wave.
I
Riding
think,
it.
and I worry about myself here because I look at Alabama the same way I looked at St. John's. It's just something about that team. And I feel that way about Alabama. I don't know why. Number 5, Florida and Maryland. I think Florida's going to stop
I
Maryland.
think
I agree.
I agree.
Maryland is not very deep.
Gators.
They only went 8.
We're gonna
8
do the
deep.
Gators.
I don't. Yeah.
Number 4, Duke and Arizona, which, Caleb Love.
Yeah.
Malik Brown. If I saw an ESPN notification that Malik Brown is a game time decision
Okay.
tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
That would be.
If he plays,
That would put it over the top.
Duke by 25.
Holy shnikes.
Damn.
Wowza.
Damn.
So if he plays, okay, I'll take Arizona in 25. That was pretty good on my
I
part.
would too. That was smart. Smart. Brilliant.
No, he just gave me his nervous laugh out of that. Number 3, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Yes. Agreed.
Number 2, Michigan State and Ole Miss.
That game is tricky. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't
3.5
want to
spread.
be
3.5
Coach
point?
Izzo.
I'm not a big fan of Coach Beard, and I'm a huge fan of Tom Izzo, but that game scares me for Michigan State.
Yeah.
Annie Agar is going to be pulling her hair out.
Yeah,
to
she
pick
is.
Michigan State to win it all. I would not be surprised if Ole Miss wins that game.
If in their round of 32 game, do you know what Michigan State shot from three point land?
18%.
26%.
Oh, not much better.
Ole Miss.
They need Paige Beckers on their team.
Ole Miss shot 57% from
Fudge.
2 and 50% from 3.
Oh, my God.
Told you he would break down the Sweet 16.
Can they do that again? Like, was that
Right.
just a great shooting
good
night?
game.
Like a
Right.
lucky shooting night?
Right.
Because
Like,
we all
you
know
just-
that happens.
Right.
Right.
We'll see.
We've seen
We'll see.
Holy
I
crap,
mean,
50%.
Yeah,
They
that's
doubled
crazy.
Up. They
That's
doubled
crazy.
up.
Yep.
And CBS's number 1 game for the Sweet 16. God. It's on Thursday at 10:09 on TBS
10:09.
is Texas
just rude.
Tech
That's just
and
rude.
Arkansas.
Why would you put the number
That's
one
just rude.
game
That's just rude.
Thursday night
Why
at 10?
is it number 1?
10:09?
Do we think Arkansas is going to knock off Texas Tech? I do not. Is it because of John Calipari?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it, and because they're the highest seeded team remaining.
My God. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know.
They have a shot.
They do.
They have a shot,
They
but
do. Texas Tech, though, is one of those, they are under the radar. No one's giving them.
100%.
Yeah, no one ever talks about them.
Without a doubt.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why is nobody talking about Texas Tech?
nobody
I
does.
No
like
one- no
them.
one, yeah.
I like them on both ends of the floor, but nobody's talking about them. So what game do you guys, is your can't miss game? Mine obviously is No, what did I tell you?
You
it
said
was?
Tennessee, Kentucky.
Tennessee and Kentucky.
yeah.
I
It
agree
is.
Yeah.
with that one.
Yeah.
And then I also think the BYU game, the Alabama.
Yeah.
BYU,
BYU.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Those are my two games that I think, like, you don't want to miss. I think they're going to be exciting.
What's yours, bud?
I like that Alabama BYU game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So you
But
guys are going with.
I mean,
Okay.
I gotta go with my
None of you will have to miss it. It's Thursday at 7:09
Oh, perfect.
on CBS.
Perfect.
So yeah,
7:09. Whew, okay.
and
Got that
Garrett
extra
will
9
be in
minutes.
heaven because Duke plays right after it
Oh, all right.
at 9:39.
Yeah, and that 4:30 wake up call on Friday morning to go to work. So that'll be.
Ooh,
geez.
Well, if your prediction is true, you can go to bed at halftime.
that's right.
That's true.
So
It's true. Halftime, you're all done.
Yeah.
After they held Arizona to 55 points in their first game.
Yeah.
And beat them by 15.
Who did Arizona just
Arizona.
beat? I'm gonna have to find that
They
because
beat Oregon.
Oregon.
that
84-82.
game was ugly in the first
Well,
half.
Arizona
Ugly.
does not play
and then,
well. They're not pretty.
Arizona
They don't
said-
win
yeah.
pretty. They don't.
And
They're
Caleb
just not
Love
pretty.
is either on or he's just
Yeah.
not.
So
Right.
since that shot that he hit in the Final Four, give him
Yeah.
all the credit for hitting that. Good for you.
Yeah.
In their last 4 games that he's played against Duke,
Yeah.
they are 1-3.
They were talking about that.
You know what
Yeah.
his points per game average is?
15.
9.
I was going to say
gosh.
not even double
9
figures.
points.
Yeah.
If Malik Brown plays, seriously, Duke can switch 1 through 5.
Right.
You're gonna have a guy that's 6'5", 6'6". I think Knippel's gonna start on him.
Yeah.
But if Malik Brown plays, how's he gonna
See,
get
I
a
know
shot
who
up
Malik
over
Brown
his?
is, but now he's mentioning the whole
Yeah.
Duke roster, and
Yeah.
we're like, nobody knows the Duke roster other than this guy. But you're right. I have heard many shows talking about Malik Brown, and if he does play,
He was first team all
defense.
defense last year.
Yep. It just puts them over the top. Who is the best coach left in the Sweet 16 on the men's side? The number one coach, and I cheated. CBS did this article, and I cheated.
No.
But I agreed with them. I agreed. I said who I thought it was. Not, is their team going to win?
Right.
Who is the best
best
coach
coach?
left? Or the best coach out of the Sweet 16?
Wow.
It wasn't Matt Painter, was it?
No.
Okay.
Nope. It was Tom Izzo. Sorry.
That was going to be my guess. but-
Sorry. Bruce Pearl was number 2, and Nate Oates from Alabama was
He
number
was going to
3.
be the one I was going to choose. Nate Oates.
That was a
Yeah.
great article, and I felt like my mom wrote that article. But I agree,
Yeah.
Tom Izzo,
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
Izzo, hands down. Shire's getting there though. You know what I give Shire so much credit for too is, it's hard when you replace a legend. When a court
Yeah.
is named after that coach,
Yeah.
usually it takes a coach or 2 later.
I mean, look at the
Yep.
Tennessee women. How long
that's
it's taken
exactly
them
my
Yeah.
comparison.
to
It's
find
taken
somebody.
the third one.
Yeah.
And I know Shire was Coach K's pick.
He
groomed him.
He grew exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
mentored
word.
him.
Yep.
But still, you're still stepping into those big shoes.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
still
yeah.
the number one guy.
I just hope he doesn't turn into Dan Hurley.
No.
Like, can
No.
he please just not turn into a
Did
Dan
you want
Hurley?
to add anything about Dan Hurley? Did you hear us talking about him?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, were you here when we were talking about him?
Yeah.
Good coach. We can't. We're not saying he's a bad coach.
Oh, not at all.
No.
No.
But there's a fine line between passionate
Yes.
and
You can say
emotional.
See, he said it better than I
Oh,
did.
you said it
More
way
like
nicer.
no.
You said it way nicer.
I mean, he
We're
did.
like, he's an
he did
ass.
take his
Yeah.
hat off for a second because I'm like, you can say it on this podcast.
Yeah, you can say it.
I mean, CB already dropped the F bomb.
On the regular.
So I did give Garrett a hard time because all winter he was Notre Dame women. And when he
make
sent
him
me his
look
Final
good
Four last week, he said, "Don't be mad." So I'm like, "Oh, he's not going against the Duke men." So he did put Notre Dame in the final, but he put UConn winning. I think, do we all have UConn winning?
Yes.
No.
No,
you
you
have
don't.
UCLA.
I have UCLA.
Yeah,
UCLA.
I have UConn.
I will say this.
UConn looks good.
Yeah, I know. They look so good.
Yo, but Paige Beckers, that's who they need Paige Beckers
Yes.
to be.
Yes.
And
That
do
is
you guys
exactly
know
what they
that
need her
FUD
to.
announced that she's coming
Yes,
back
she
to
is.
UConn?
Yep.
We all thought.
No,
yeah,
brilliant.
yes.
Brilliant.
She needs to.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yes.
A,
Yep.
she'll just have her stock rise
Yep.
even more,
Yep.
and
Yep.
B, come in with that new CBA.
Yep.
Yep.
And you can play with Sarah Strong for another
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
Exactly.
If you're a
Really
post
cool.
player or if you have young kids, watch Sarah Strong and watch Lauren Betts.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
And I will say, and I love UCLA basketball. I love Lauren Betts. I was a big John Wooden fan. I will say this, watching them play Richmond was better than UCLA for a half, and I've never watched. You ever have that team you watch in March Madness that you haven't watched all season? And you go, why the hell haven't I watched them?
Yeah.
It was the Richmond Spiders.
Yep.
This team is good, and they can shoot, and they were shooting lights out. But watching them try to match up, they didn't have somebody to match up with Betts. There's sometimes, though, where I go, how is that not a foul on Betts? She's not swinging her elbows. She does what you say, chin it with elbows
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But those elbows go hard into the rib
Yeah.
of the defender.
Yeah.
Over and
Yeah.
over and over. And that defender, when that happens, moves a foot or two because of that
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
They have got to be in such pain
Oh.
Oh my
when they
gosh.
get done defending her.
But how about the
Holy.
way some of these games are being called?
Yeah.
Oh,
Give
it's
us
just
your
like,
insight in that.
It's just like two different, completely different games.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yep.
it's like depending on it's either every little thing is being. What was it? The St. John's game where everyone was fouling out
Yeah.
for the men's side.
Yep.
Yep.
Literally, like there was over 40.
42.
easily. Yeah, it was over 40 fouls being called, and then other games were like, where the hell is that call?
And we've talked.
Nothing's being called.
I'm not going to talk about officiating in the state of Vermont, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah.
Pick a lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Pick a lane and stay in it.
And I don't want anyone to get mad about that comment I just made.
Now we
I
just lost
think-
viewers. Way to go.
I think officiating is amazing, and
it's hard.
I
It's
am
so
a Central
hard. So
Vermont
hard.
Northern gal, and I love the officiating. But
there
then
should
when
be
I
a-
travel down south, I'm like, it's different.
Yeah.
And we're just
gonna
a
be.
little old Vermont.
Yeah.
It's
But
gotta-
anyway.
like there's got to be a middle ground.
There has to be a middle
42
ground.
fouls and like just people getting beat to crap.
Yeah.
But not in that UConn Florida game. I just want you to know that the
Yeah.
officiating was good in that game
Yes,
because
yes.
Dan Patrick said it was, and I'm going to go with his word on that. So as we look at the women's side of it, I've also got the top 8-1 games for the Sweet 16. Now, UConn, UCLA. Okay. The number 8th ranked game is South Carolina and Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's gonna
Agreed.
be- Yeah.
But God, what a great game Maryland and Alabama gave us.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
the 7th ranked game is UCLA and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss plays tough though. They're gritty backyard.
They
You
are.
want to get
Yeah.
into a fight? Remember they showed
Yeah.
grandma or mom in the
Yeah.
stands when I was
And
watching
you
it
and I
with
were
you.
both like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yep.
Oh, I thought she was going to start a fight in the stands.
Yeah.
and
I was like,
whoa.
oh shit.
So Lauren Betts might get a few elbows back.
She might.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I might tune in just to see that. Number 6 is UConn and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that one. I like Reagan Beers, but she's got to go up against Sarah Strong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Number 5, NC State and LSU is the game
Yes.
I
That's
want
gonna
to
be
watch
That
the
is
most.
the game.
Why is it number 5?
I don't know.
I'm like, you're talking Wes Moore versus Kim Mulkey. And Wes Moore is one of those, again, underrated coaches.
Yeah.
And he's always been at NC State. I would not want to try to outcoach that man. And I just think it's a great matchup.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The coaches against each other right there. And again, last week we said, well, we don't talk about LSU much, but I would not dismiss
But
LSU because that's
Who
a good
wants
team.
to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just it's a good team,
I don't
Nobody
think anyone
wants
really
to.
like. Yeah. No.
I watched
Good
them
team.
play their last
I
game.
try not to hate them just because I hate Kim Mulkey.
I know.
That's
It's hard.
the problem.
It's really hard. It's really not hard not to hate them because
Yeah.
of Kim Mulkey.
Their game against Florida State was a fabulous half of basketball.
Agreed.
Oh, yes.
Agreed.
Florida
Yes.
State was down by 1. They couldn't
Yes.
Yes.
And then the second half started, and it
Yeah.
looked like a blowout. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
it
like
was not-
a 30-point win.
It was definitely a tale of two halves. It was ugly.
It was ugly. And the same thing with UCLA and Richmond. I think
Yeah.
it was tied. And then I stayed up because I was a little nervous for UCLA. So I stayed up till midnight, and they outscored Richmond 29-7 in the third. So,
Yeah.
anyways. The NC State LSU game is the one I want to watch. Oh my God, it's the same time as Tennessee Kentucky men. Oh well. Number 4, USC K-State.
Yeah.
There's no fun in it anymore.
No.
Sorry, that's not fair to the others. I do think USC has a good chance.
I
in that
agree.
game.
Oh, yeah.
I still think
As
long as they have
I still think
Kiki.
they're going to win.
As long as they have
Yeah.
Kiki.
If she's on, yeah.
But K-State is good inside and out, and that's a rugged team. I'm actually going to pick K-State in that game. I really am picking K-State. I'm going to circle that. You don't need to give me any points, anybody. Number 3, Duke and North Carolina.
That's just
That should be a fun one.
Just because it's
just
Duke, North
because
Carolina.
Because it's
Yeah.
Duke and North
That's the only
Carolina.
Yep.
reason.
Yep.
I did have a North Carolina hat, and I just wanted you to
Oh,
know.
I could have brought that and the
For
Texas
you,
hat.
I left it at home. I should have brought it
You
in.
should have told me.
You should have wore your North Carolina hat.
I know.
Knowing Garrett was going to be
I
here.
know. I totally forgot.
Actually, I don't take it back. NC State, LSU, but this is the game. This is my can't miss, and it's number 2 on CBS. TCU and Notre Dame.
Me too.
Such a good game.
That's my game.
Such a good game.
That's my game I want to watch.
Okay, who's going to win that game?
Damn.
We're all gonna. Haley Van Lith looks
I'm
like
nervous about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Haley Van
I'm
Lith
nervous.
would step on a puppy right now.
Oh,
just
she
to win a
would. Yeah,
game.
she would.
How's it looking
Garrett,
last
she's
year?
got that.
Yeah.
And Coach Waltz, who she
Yeah.
played for 3 years, they literally, camera went on them when they went through the line to shake hands. You could tell he kind of wanted to say something, but she was like, and she barely low-fived him. It wasn't a high five.
Yeah.
And she did that through the whole line. I know I started the show with this, but girl is on a freaking
She
mission.
is. She is.
And what's the other one? Sedona Prince?
Yep.
Do you know that? I have to do this for you. She is in her 7th year.
Oh, good.
Yes,
So she's
that's
35?
Right. That's right. That's right. I was like,
7th year!
How do you have 7 years of
we were talking
eligibility?
about that. I was like, how did that happen?
It was
She redshirted a year?
a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Red shirt, probably
COVID,
1, 2
7.
years.
COVID and injuries, and remember she had some domestic
Issues.
violence
Yep.
issue, but I don't think that factored in. I think it was COVID and injuries, because all they would talk about in the article I read was injuries, and I'm like, wait till I tell Joe Wheels
7
that
years.
Yeah.
7
Solid.
years,
Yep.
because I'm sorry, she does.
She
looks
does-
so much older.
She does.
Bo Nix was your
100%.
other one, 7
Yes.
100%.
Bo Nix was, literally played
She
for 7
looks
years.
like she should be playing in the WNBA now.
Yes. She looks like she's like Van Lift's mom. Like, I just don't understand. 7 years. 7 years.
So-
I only went to college for 4. What the hell was I
In her
doing?
defense, Haley does have a baby face. Okay.
Right? And now I can't think of the TCU player, and how come I didn't write it down? She was on some
Jesus.
3-point land. So that TCU team is more than just Haley
I'm
Van Lith.
nervous.
'Cause you know what Haley
Yeah.
Van Lith did? She was this facilitator.
Yes.
She did
Yeah,
such
She
a
had-
good job.
Yes.
And
100%.
at LSU, she was the 2 guard, the shooting guard.
Correct.
She wanted to go be a point guard, and Kim Mulkey just destroyed her for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Literally.
she
Her
is
soul
doing
and
everything
Yeah.
at TCU that she's wanted to do.
Yep. I'm gonna
So-
go with TCU.
They're,
TCU.
Notre
Dame.
Is, Notre
I know.
Dame is. I'm taking TCU. Notre Dame is.
Woo!
Notre Dame is favored by 6.5 though.
Oh wow.
I'm taking that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking
All right,
TCU
so
plus 6.5.
Wheels. I'll just even out the
Should I
thing.
put the money
So
on
you
it
two
now?
are going with TCU. I'll go
Yes.
with Garrett on Notre Dame side. Just to even it out.
I mean, I just think
I'm also worried about Olivia Miles.
but I'm not
Yeah.
betting. I'm not giving you guys. What was it?
6.
No
6.5.
way.
6.5.
No way.
I'm putting my money
No
on.
way.
Guys, if you want to put a bet on,
Yeah.
put TCU plus 6.5.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't betted once in my life the professional way that it's done. But I might do that one. And, you know, months ago we talked about TCU just being all about Haley Van
Yeah.
Lith.
Yeah.
We did, because we
Yeah.
didn't know. And you want to
They're
see it
way
proven.
more than that, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
The number one game, but first of all, none of you are going to miss TCU Notre Dame. 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Solid.
Oh, okay.
ABC.
All right.
Solid.
All right.
ABC.
Good time.
ABC, ESPN are the women's games, and CBS and TBS are the men's game. The number one game is Texas and Tennessee.
That's weird. I
is really weird.
don't see.
I know
how that's a number one
Texas
game.
sometimes can struggle shooting-wise.
Oh,
Their
100%.
defense is
Absolutely.
fabulous.
Yep.
They can struggle. So maybe they're calling it the 1 versus 5.
How deep is Texas?
The chance where not very.
No.
See, that's the
Not
issue.
very.
Yeah.
'Cause fucking
And I like
Tennessee will
this
just do
Tennessee
whole
team a
line
lot.
change- They'll just do whole line changes.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely
I don't.
bonkers.
I mean, I think Texas is going to win handedly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Total tie.
I'm not really sure why that's the number one game. Maybe because it's the highest seed left.
I think they're thinking the number one. That's the number one seed that could lose in the Super.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's.
I
I
agree.
think
All right.
I agree on that one.
Okay.
because South Carolina, UCLA are 8 and 7, and USC is 4.
Yeah.
But I would have taken that game and put it in the
Yeah. The top
5,
Like,
7, 6. The game, and it's a tie for me. It's NC State, LSU, and TCU Notre Dame.
Yep.
Same.
Yep.
Same.
And you guys are still sticking UConn,
Yes.
UCLA. No one's wavering.
I'm wavering a little bit. The fucking easy button.
Yeah.
Kate
UConn's
Becker.
playing freaking lights out, man. I'm telling you
wavering
what.
a little bit, but
Go on to, I don't know if it's CBS or ESPN, but their cover story literally is Paige Becker's
Yeah.
chasing that elusive
and I will be happy to
championship.
be wrong. 100% will be
Right,
very happy
right,
to be
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt strong. And it's that article of her chasing that elusive championship.
Yeah. And
Because she's gone through a lot.
And she's such a good person.
Yeah.
She's
You
like,
know,
never has a bad thing to say about
I wonder
anyone.
if she called JuJu, knowing what she's
Oh,
gone
Yeah, I'm sure
through.
she did.
Oh,
Yeah.
And about the
100%.
same time,
Yeah,
sophomore.
yeah.
Their sophomore year.
100%.
I want to say, and I said it last week, Notre Dame had to regroup, hit the reset button.
Yeah.
And I think they did. They looked good. But I do worry about them in against
worry.
that TCU.
Yeah.
That's
It'll
why you're
be-
going with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the other thing. Olivia Miles played on that ankle injury. They
Yeah.
really didn't need her.
Yeah.
There was a little hitch in her little giddy up
that's what I'm
during
worried about.
warm-ups.
That's what I'm worried about.
During warm-ups, but I didn't see all of that game. Did she get pulled early? She must have. I didn't. I
didn't
don't
watch-
know
I didn't watch the whole game.
because they were up pretty.
I mean, I would hope so.
right.
But
Yeah.
Her being not 100% worries me.
Me too.
Really worries
Me too.
me. So what game is it though that you don't want to miss in the women's side? Is it the TCU?
Yes.
The
Notre Dame?
TCU game.
Yeah.
So we're all
Yeah.
in agreement.
That and Duke, North Carolina.
Right? I mean, that is just, and it's 2 and 3. They're ranked
Yeah.
2 and 3 in their side of the bracket, so it'll be a good game. Duke is playing their best ball now.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
What do you like the Stephon Diggs signing?
I do.
And I'm going to leave the show with this. I had to hold this other. I always start with best thing I've heard.
Yeah.
It was Coach Vrabel saying, "I have a quarterback where I can open up the playbook and do whatever I want." So there's a little bit of a dig to his time in Tennessee
Yeah.
with some of his quarterbacks. But that is also, of course, he has to say this. He's in his first year. But that is literally him, because he's a smart coach, saying, "I have the quarterback that I want here."
Yeah.
And we were not sold on Drake. You weren't
No.
sold on him either.
I will.
None of us were.
No.
Before the draft.
No.
I'm
I
still
was
not.
on record.
You're
I was.
still not.
I'm still not.
Okay. I liked what I saw from him.
I mean,
I did.
I agree. Like, he definitely exceeded my expectations
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
But give him a full season. I want to see how he does with a full season.
Well, now he's got Josh
so-
McDaniels back.
I
too.
know.
Can I ask
But
you how
I'm
you
not-
feel about that?
What?
I mean,
McDaniels?
Josh McDaniels,
He just keeps coming
with
back.
Bill Belichick, he gets a head coaching gig. He's with Bill Belichick, he gets a head coaching gig. Are you glad that he's back? Were you glad when he was named the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, because I mean, who else were you gonna replace?
Yeah.
Put in there.
And you got to think Vrabel, that's a comfortable thing for Vrabel too, because
Yeah.
they spent all their
Right.
time in
Yeah.
New England.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know? I really do like Coach Vrabel, and I think he's going to do good things. And
I agree.
still think they'll draft another wide receiver. They literally spent, I thought I saw it, in free agency, because they had a lot of money to spend. I think it was $190 million on the defensive side of the ball in free agency.
Yep.
And Vrabel's a defensive guy anyway. They'll do what they have to do in the draft. The Miami Dolphins will be in last place in the AFC East.
Well, the Giants will be in last place in the NFC.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
The Jets will
Calling
be,
it now.
The Jets will be so much more improved just by Aaron Glenn being their coach.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are
Justin
not.
Fields.
Yeah.
And not having Aaron
And Justin
Rodgers.
And not
Fields.
having Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
And one more time,
We beg you, Karen.
Please.
We beg you.
ESPN did a thing where they filled in the teams that needed quarterbacks the most in free agency. And it had Justin Fields, it had Geno Smith going to the Raiders, blah, blah, blah. And then it just had Cleveland and the Steelers. And it was blank, obviously.
Yep.
There was no face there. And they're like, and this is why Aaron Rodgers makes so much sense. And I'm like, does he?
Right.
No.
Does he?
I thought of your sister today, or
Sis.
last night when they announced
afraid.
that the
Me-
Giants signed
Me
Russell
too.
Wilson. I was like,
oh, poor Steelers.
The last
snap,
thread.
Gail's going to be
Yes.
pissed.
Yeah.
Because the last thread you're holding onto as a Steeler fan is Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Might go back to Pittsburgh.
Right.
And the next show, or as we get closer to the draft, we will talk about Jackson Dart all the way till draft
Yeah.
night because he's like the most popular name right now
Yeah.
in the quarterback frenzy when it comes to the draft.
Yep.
Outside
Ward-
of Cam Ward.
Yeah,
Cam
outside.
Ward.
Outside of
Yeah.
Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam Ward, we're
Yeah.
entrenching him in that number one pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should between now and the draft, when even after they do their pro days, nothing's happening. But all of a sudden, you're going to hear all these stock is up on this one
Yeah.
from doing
Yep.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jackson Dart, unless he's peaking too early, there's like 3 teams that I've seen in a mock draft, and everyone's trading up to get him. Or if he slides, they're trading back into the back end of
Right,
round
yeah.
1 to
Yeah.
get him. So it's not just that I like to say his name.
You
He's
do
got
love to say his name.
he's got a cannon of an arm. He's got
They-
great instincts, and he's got a little bit of moxie too.
They compared him to Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah.
A younger version of Bo Nix. Like, not the
6-year
not the
college.
35-year-old rookie Bo Nix, but like the real.
And I leave
young
you
Bo
with
Nix.
the Sedona Prince, 7 years.
7 years, guys.
Thank you, my friend, for joining us.
Absolutely.
And breaking down, no one can break down the men's side or tell us the whole roster. You know who else can name the whole roster for their team is Jen Esteville can tell you the whole UConn
UConn,
roster.
yes. Yep, she can.
And when I say that, and he can probably do the same,
Yeah.
she can go back 10 years and tell you
Yes.
the roster, and he can too.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for joining. Everybody,
course.
enjoy the rest of your week, but more so, enjoy the Sweet 16.
Yep.
It's like no other. Have a great rest of the week.